Hi, everyone, and happy Memorial Day weekend. We've made it to the cusp of summer, finally, and I'm outside recording this class on this amazingly gorgeous day. So, and with that, we are hopefully going to be kind of easing out of the restrictions that we've been in, and I just feel it in the air. But with that being said, there's been hopefully some things that we've learned about ourselves and our lives that we can maybe do less of, that we did too much of. We made our lives frantic, and now with what we've had to deal with and slow down our lives, maybe taking a time to reflect on what we really isn't necessary to create just busyness and just filling space in our lives. So our theme today, with that being said, is less is more. Less is more on our mats, less is more in our lives. We actually can, on our mats, in yoga poses, get deeper when we are not trying so hard and just trying to push ourselves too far, spreading ourselves too thin, etc., etc. Less is more. Really, in the end, we get more accomplished, more done with better quality. So we'll be working today as far as body parts. We're going to be working on our glutes, also some core. This is a strength class, so I'd like for you, if you have and would like to use weights, you can grab two lightweight weights. You don't have to use those again. Never necessary, but if you like to amp it up just a little bit. And there's also a block. I have a block, or you could get a book, but it's something firm. We're going to be standing on this. We're going to be putting our knees on this. So if you'd like to pad your knee, if you're on a hard book, go ahead and grab a blanket and something like that so you can just pad the prop. So come onto your backs as we begin. And we'll just start to breathe, taking our few breaths just to settle ourselves into the practice, and just start to, not only when you're breathing, you breathe, again, that deep diaphragmatic breath, but can you just start to contemplate here for a moment just the things that you maybe learned about yourselves that you filled too much space up, made yourself frantic. Certainly don't need to bring out with us into the world as we step back into life in a more typical manner. In these times of slowing down, we can really gain a perspective. What the most important things are for us, what are in line with our values. And how we can create greater ease in our lives. So we'll take one or two more deep breaths here. Fill the belly, let the belly really rise. Also the back body is filling. Full exhale. You can do a release out the mouth. Good. And so let's stretch our legs long. Reach the arms up overhead here and just stretch. Okay, and drawing your knees into your chest. Really hug the knees so you can round the lower back a bit and rock side to side. Okay, let's keep our knees bent, but bring them to 90 degrees. We're going to work right away into our core, just with some real dynamic movement. Lay the arms along the sides here and hold and draw that lower belly in. You might not be able to flatten the lower back on your mat, but we certainly want to engage the lower back towards the mat. We're going to use that cueing a lot in our class today. Okay, now I'll start to add that dynamic movement, touching the toes, alternating legs. Keep the knees coming back up to that 90 degrees. And even the knees coming further away from you adds a bit more to the core. Okay. And then you'll start to feel that warmth right away. Okay, we'll do that just a few more times. Keep moving the legs, alternating, tapping the toes. Okay, and then bring the knees back to 90 degrees. Interlace the hands behind the back of the neck. You can either keep your upper back on your mat, or lift up the upper back as in a slight crunch. Now start to add some extensions in the legs, alternating, extending, bending back up 90 degrees, extension, 90. Okay, keep lifting the upper back, draw the rib cage in, draw the lower belly in. Okay, with this movement, you're going to start to feel the hip flexors warming up as well. That's really a big part of our core. Okay, and then this last time on this side, let's add some bicycle crunches, but we're just going to keep our knees bent rather than extending. Just take the left elbow to the right knee, right elbow, left knee. So I keep bringing my knees back to 90 degrees. And cross. Let's do that one more time each side. Okay. Now add the extensions. So left leg extends, right leg extends, bringing the opposite elbow to the knee. Just notice that subtle difference between keeping the knees held at 90 degrees and then adding extensions of the legs. Just very subtle but different feeling in the body. Okay, last one on each side here. Okay, and then relax just for a second. Okay, and then draw your knees back up to 90 degrees, and we'll start to rock up and down the spine. So we're going to use our core here as well. So when we use our core, we're really stabilizing ourselves, and our midsection is leading the movement. It's leading and it's stopping and pausing our movement. And the more you leave your legs extended, the harder it's going to be. So if your knees are bent, that's just a little bit more accessible. And now pause at the top, and we're in a boat pose or Navasana. For support, you can always bring your hands to the backs of the hamstrings, sit up tall, or reach the arms out forward. Okay, add some bicycle movements to the legs. So start to add that dynamic movement. Okay, we're going to rock onto the right glute. Turn the torso to the left. Rock over to your left glute. Turn the chest to the right. And then let's do that one more time each side. So I'm over into the right glute. Over to the left. And then come on up to seated. Let's take just a loose Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose, just to stretch those hip flexors that we've worked. I'm not going to even lean forward very much. I'm just emphasizing the opening of the knees to stretch the hip flexors and the hips. And then make your way onto hands and knees. And we'll warm up the spine, moving for our cow and cat. Inhale, lift the chest, belly melts. Exhale, round into your back for cat. Inhale, lifting the chest. Lift the tailbone as well and really arch the back. Exhale, round into the back. Inhale, let's do that one more time. In each movement, back to your cat. Come back to a neutral spine here, and let's start to just shift the hips now to the right, and we're going to open up the hips on the sides of the body. So our left rib cage is opening up, cresseting out. My hips are reaching over to the right side. And now we'll switch sides. So hips go to the left. One more time, hips to the right. spreading the left rib cage, and then hips to the left, spreading the right rib cage. Good. So we're just freeing the waistline here a little bit, and then come back to your tabletop. Okay, fun with block. This is where you might, if you have a hard book or something, you might want to pad it with a blanket or a towel, because we're going to take our knee, right knee, and place it on the block of the book. Take one of your weights. We'll place the weight in the right hand. Okay, so we're going to lift up the lower belly and hug everything into midline here. Reach the left leg up, point the left toes downwards, and lift the lower belly up again. So we just make sure that we have this nice stability and strength in our core. Good. So here you can add the arm into this as well. So the right arm reaches forward with or without the weight. Okay. Engage your core. Just be super strong. I'm reaching out strongly with my leg and my arm, and I'm not collapsing into my left hand. Now begin to crunch, elbow into the knee. Extend. Elbow to knee. Extend. Every time you extend, strengthen the core. Come back to those little cues that I gave you. And extend. 2 more times. Extend. 1 more. Extend. Great. Place that hand down. Place the left knee right on down to your mat. Plant the left hand, and we're going to turn and open up to the right for a modified side plank. Reach the right arm up to stretch really long through the right side. You can even reach the right arm up and over. Okay. Then the hand could go straight back up towards the sky. Lift the right leg. We'll bring the elbow to the knee, crunching sideways here. So reaching up and out with the arm and the leg as the elbow then comes into the knee. And just crunch and extend. Okay. Last couple here. See, I'm trying to keep my knee upwards rather than coming forwards. So I use more of my oblique muscles. Last one here. And then come down to your tabletop. Let's take 2 rounds of cat and cow here in between sides. So just moving here, and if you want to even do the side bends with the hips swaying out to the side, whatever feels good here for you. Okay. Okay, now we're placing then the left knee on the block or the books. Okay, lift the right leg up and back. Point the right toes downwards. Engage the core. Lift the lower belly up. Add the arm. Extend the left arm. Keep lifting. Good. And now start to bring elbow to the knee. And extend. Good. And if you're really good, you're not cheating by placing that top of the left foot on the mat. That's really hard. Okay, last 1 or 2. Then we get to get into the side stretch. Good. Place that right knee on down to your mat. Turn now to your left lengthwise. For your side plank, the left arm goes up and over to stretch. Reach the left arm back straight up, and now lift the left leg up. Crunch, elbow to the knee. So again, try to get your knee moving more upwards rather than out in front. Last 3, 2, and 1, and lower down. Good. Have your weights handy, your block handy. Just place them right to the front of your mat. Sink the hips back for a child's pose. Breathe some deep breaths into the lower back as we've worked that area. Okay, rock side to side. Rise on up, curl the toes, and come into your first downward facing dog.
So start to just walk in your dog. So you're staying put, obviously, but you're just pedaling your heels, bending your knees as if you're walking. The root in your hands into the index finger knuckle. You can turn on the inner arms all the way up to the shoulders. Okay, begin to settle into your down dog. Lift the hips up and back slightly more. And bend your knees. Walk your feet up to the hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, rise on up to stand. Hands reach. Exhale, hands heart center. Okay. So we'll come right into our first series of hip stability movements. So I'll begin with standing on my block on my right foot. Okay, so get your foot right in the center of that block. Start to hug that right hip in. So I'm not hiking that right hip out. You want to hug it in, and everything is going to hug into midline here. Just have your hands right here at heart center. It's just a nice place to bring it into the center line of the body. And start to make some circles with your left leg. So our left leg is active by just the small movement of the circles. Take it to the opposite direction. Keep standing tall. Okay, the right side is drawing in. Okay, bring that left foot back down. Find centeredness, standing tall here. We're going to rock forward and back a little bit. So rock forward, lift the leg up slightly behind you. Your right leg is squatting a little bit too. Then stand up tall. So it's just like a rocking motion. The left leg floats back along with the leaning forward of the upper body. Okay, we'll do that 2 more times. So obviously you're going to start to feel this mostly in your standing leg. Okay, we'll settle right here, add a little more squat into that standing right leg, and float your left leg off to the side. Let's do that just 4 times. 2, 3, and 4, and then step it down. Whew. Shake it out. So when you're standing on a block, you have to engage more stability muscles, maybe even your ankle. So your ankle might feel it a little more tomorrow too. Your ankle, your calves, and everything going up. You're having to just stabilize that much more. Step on the block with your left leg or left foot, and then just begin to make those circles with the right leg. They're just small. We want to just feel and begin to work into the left leg. So again, I'm really hugging that left hip in. My rib cage is drawn in, my lower belly, and then switch directions. Okay, now pause that right leg. Start to hinge forward slightly again. So I'm slightly squatted in that standing leg, and then come back on up. Come forward, back up, forward, and back up. One more time this direction. Okay, and back up now. Squat a little more in that standing leg and take that right leg off to the side 4 times. 2, 3, woo, and 1. Step off that block. Awesome. Shake it out just a little bit. Let's move that block to the front of the mat. Okay, stand to the front of the mat with your feet our hips distance apart. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up halfway. Step back to plank pose. Okay. Exhale, lower all the way to your belly. Hands are next to your chest, flat on your mat. Tops of the feet are on your mat. Inhale, lift for a cobra. Stretch into the core.
Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift to stretch. Exhale, lower. Curl the toes. Push up and back, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look to the hands. You can step or float, feet to the hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, rise to stand. Hands reach. Okay, I'm going to take hold of my 2 weights. Okay, and come into your chair pose. So your feet and knees are together. Your big toes more or less are touching. Your heels can be slightly separated. Sink into a chair pose. Draw the lower belly in, and then your tailbone will just sort of feel like it's falling down towards the mat. Reach the arms up overhead with the weights or without, and just start to do some pull downs. Lifting up, pull down, and lift, lift, and lift, and lift. Okay, another 3 or 4. And stand, bring the hands here to heart center, okay? We're gonna add on just one more movement with the arms here in our chair, so come back to chair. Bring your hands so the palms are facing outward. Again, the tailbone is reaching downwards towards the mat. And V-ups here, so we reach up and do a V, bring the arms down. So full range of motion here with the arms and the shoulder. Okay, reach up, keep sitting in that chair, but lift the chest up because we have that little cobra lift of the chest. We're not leaning over too much. Okay, and then this last one here, reach up. Okay, forward fold, exhale. Drop the weights, inhale, lift up halfway. Okay, step or hop back, flow through vinyasa. Chaturanga, lower down, either all the way or halfway. And upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, reach the right leg up and back. Open, bend, and stretch. Okay, straighten the leg back out and step your right foot up between the hands. Okay, rise up for crescent lunge. So just sink in here to your crescent lunge. This is mostly about really opening up the front left side of the hip flexor. So my leg is straightened and long. Reach the arms up overhead. Okay. Exhale, release the left hand down and twist to the right. The right arm is reaching. And lower that right hand down. We're going to kick up the left leg just a bit and step the left foot to meet the right. Grab hold of the weights again, sink it to the hips, chair pose. Begin with the hands right here at heart center. Let's go back to those pull-ups. So we're going to actually pull downs more or less, and then just start to pull down. We're going to go for about 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We'll just stand up for a second just to take the weight more or less kind of off the core. It's a lot. Now, we'll tricep strengtheners. Sink back into your chair pose, lean forward. Bring the weights right next to your chest and then kick the arms back. Try to isolate your triceps. So every time my arms go back, I'm squeezing my triceps, the upper back arms. Okay, so another 5, 4, 3, 2,
And 1. Go ahead, forward fold. Place the weights away. Inhale, look up halfway. Step or float back, chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg and back. Open, bend, and stretch left side. Step the left foot up between the hands and rise up. Crescent lunge. So again, just working on lengthening and lifting that top thigh. Should feel good. Okay, and then lower the right hand down, twist to the left. Okay. Take your left hand down, look ahead, kick up off that right leg, lift it up, step your right foot next to the left. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, rise all the way to stand. Hands through heart center. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up halfway. And let's go ahead and lift the left leg up and back to that standing split. So maybe you want to fold in a little bit deeper, lift the left leg up a little higher. Okay, now begin to lift the chest up about halfway. We're not going to use the weights for this. You might want to use your prop to help you under your hands, but we're going to squat just a little bit on that right leg. Bring the left leg to about parallel to your mat. Bring the hands to heart center. We're coming into a Gidasana or a warrior 3, modified warrior 3, because I'm bending into that standing leg. Then use that strength and lift that left leg up in front. Come back to that modified warrior 3. So I'm just gonna rock. We did this a little bit earlier on the block, standing on the block, but I'm lifting the knee up, extending the leg back as I tip forward and back. Okay, then this last one here, we're gonna lift it up, step it way back. Crescent lunge. Bring your left hand down to the inside of your right foot, either on a block or the mat. Okay, place your left foot down. So we pivot the full left foot down. I'm still going to draw my right hip back. So I try to keep my pelvis nice and square, looking downwards. Okay, now slowly start to straighten that right leg. Rotate the chest to the right. Keep drawing that right hip in and down towards the midline. Then finally, your right leg, your right hand extends towards the ceiling. Revolve triangle. Okay, and then let's go ahead and release. Okay, so let's just go ahead, step that left foot up to meet the right. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, fold in. Just dangle here for a minute. If you like to add some more depth into your fold, Uttanasana, bend your knees slightly and just let your upper body cascade downwards. Okay, release the hands. Lift the chest up halfway. And just lift that right leg up this time. Forward fold a bit more, so we're coming into that standing split. Okay, transition to Didasana or Warrior 3. Lift the chest up, get strong in your standing left leg. Good, bring the right leg down from that standing split and slowly engage. We're engaging the back muscles. The left hip is firing. Then we slowly stand up, bring the right knee with you, and then we'll just hinge forward. Lift the right leg up and back, and then come forward with the right knee. Hinge forward. One more time, bring the right knee up in front, and then swing that leg back, step it way back. Okay. And then let's go ahead, reach the arms up, briefly for crescent. Then bring your hands on the hips. We're gonna pivot the full right foot down. Come down, bring your right hand down now to the inside of the left foot. Left hand goes on the left hip. And then slowly straighten as much as you can that left leg. Rotate the chest to the left. I'm lifting the chest up. I'm not collapsing into my right arm. Lift the chest up as if you want to add 2-3 inches onto the arm length on your right hand. Okay, and then finally, left hand goes upwards. Draw the left hip in. Keep tucking it in to the midline. And then lower down. Okay, from here, let's just step it back. Down dog. Vinyasa. Inhale, forward plank. Chaturanga. Up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, inhale, right leg lifts and back. Step your right foot up between the hands. Okay, we're gonna come right into that revolved. Actually, bring the block to the inside of the right foot and come to stand first. Okay, and come onto the ball of the back foot this time. We'll take the left hand, place it to the inside of that right knee, add just a touch of resistance, reach the right arm out to the side for a twist. Okay, this is our challenge pose today, a revolved half moon. Okay, so just have fun with it, less is more, just attempt to do part of it, some of it, and just don't think about it too much. So we're gonna come down, float the left hand, or you can take that left hand on the block and then start to lift up that left leg, turn, revolve to the right. I'm looking right at my table. And keep lifting the left leg, rotating the torso to the right. And then step it back. Ooh. Come back, downward facing dog. That's it for that side. Okay, vinyasa here if you like, or stay right here in down dog. Okay, lift the left leg in back. Step your left foot up between the hands. And just come right on up. Place your hands on your hips to start, just to get your balance here. So here we'll take the right hand to the inside of that left front thigh, and then open up the left arm to the side for that twist. Okay, take that left knee and push it into that right hand. That's there for a reason, because we want to still maintain that sense of turning the leg inwards like this and hugging into that midline when we go into half moon. Okay, take now your right hand down to the block or the mat. So it's reaching forward, and we're gonna kick off that right leg. Left hand is reaching straight up to the sky. Hug the left hip into the midline. And then step it back, release, release. Take it back, one last vinyasa. Back to plank, chaturanga, cobra or upward facing dog, and down dog. Okay, inhale forward into plank. One last little bit of core here. Come up onto the tippy toes in your plank, and then pike up just a little bit. So I'm lifting up my whole midsection, front side of the body, pushing the mat away, and now come to a plank, a regular plank. So I'm just this long length from the heels to the top of the head, and then come up onto the tippy toes, pike it up a little bit, and then back to your regular plank. One more time. As you lift, draw the belly up and in towards the spine, And then back to plank. Come on down to the forearms, Sphinx, or forearm plank first. We'll get to the Sphinx in a second, but we're gonna hold for 5 in a forearm plank. 3, 2, and 1. Lower the pelvis down. Lift the chest. Use your forearms. They're in the shape of an 11. Tops of the feet are rooted onto your mat as if you want to drag your forearms back. You're just lifting the chest and lengthening the chest and the spine. Another breath. You should feel really, really good. And then let's go ahead, release down, push yourself up onto your hands and knees. And we're going to just swing around. Place your hands behind you, face the fingertips in, and your feet are down. We're coming into reverse tabletop here. So lift the hips up. And we'll add some marching here. So lift and march. Alternating leg lifts. March, march. Okay. Okay. And then lower back down. Let's do that one more time. Lift up for reverse tabletop. And then just begin to march. Okay. So again, just another good pose here and movement to engage the glutes. Okay, a couple more. Let's do one more each side here. And then lower down. Whew. Okay, let's just get into some nice twists and just easy, good stretches. I'm going to move my mat into the sunlight. The sun is kind of shifted a little bit. And as you're in your seated, take your right leg, fold it in, cross the left leg over the right. Turn and twist to the left. So hug the knee, or the back of that right arm can go on top of that left thigh. Settle into the sit bones underneath you to just feel heavy in the pelvis, but yet sit up tall. Okay. And then uncross. Gomukhasana, cow face pose. So this is a deeper crossing of the legs. So it might look different for some of us. Ideally, I'm trying to get my knees stacked on one another and my shins are going outwards. Some other little tip here is to possibly sit on a block. That definitely helps. Or don't cross your legs this tight. Okay. Wherever you're at, we just have some crossing of the legs to get a bit deeper into the hips and the hip stretching. Okay, and then maybe you're sitting just straight up tall. If you have some space left, lean forward. Okay, and then come on back, take it out, uncross the legs, and we'll switch sides. So I'm folding that left leg under and crossing my right leg over, lifting up through the spine and turning to the right. Again, my pelvis is heavy, my sit bones are heavy underneath me, and then I sit up tall, rising up through the spine into the crown of the head. And then exhale, we'll unwind the top half, cross your legs a little bit more, and again, use your props. If, again, a block, books, blankets, whatever, you can just play with that and put the different props in different places to see maybe what fits best for your body in this pose. Okay, and you might have a right side, left side difference. That's pretty common. Okay, so just sit here, and I know this is a difficult pose for some of us. But we breathe and find ease just through the breath. Less is more. That's all we need to do. We don't need to overstretch, overdo, try to push ourselves in any way. Actually, that will backfire on you. As I said before, you wouldn't go out and run a marathon today. You would start with however many miles that you feel you're capable of. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 1, and you incrementally grow from there. That's the best way to condition your body. Okay, and then lean forward if you still have that space. And come on up to seated. Uncross the legs. Let's come onto our backs just for some last stretching. Guys, really nice job, everybody. And hug the knees into the chest. Extend your right leg out. Draw your left knee in. Hug it in. Okay, cross that left knee to the right. So I'm rolling right onto my right hip. And then open up the left arm to the side. You can gaze to the left as well. Soften everything that seems to be resisting, holding back. We use so many muscles and it's just like we want to just keep contracting the muscles. Now is the time to let them go. It's the yin and yang of what we learn in yoga. We can't possibly be putting effort in all the time 100%. We have to have the opposite for recovery. Okay, and then come on back to center. We'll take that to the opposite side. So draw your right knee into the chest, left leg is long. Crossing, then over to the left, reach the right arm to the right. So again, if you've been thinking about or again contemplating that less is more concept, you know what that means for you. Okay, maybe it showed up here in your practice today, where you wanted to push and get to a particular pose much quicker and much deeper than what you're ready for. Maybe that's your tendency. Okay. I know that is mine. That's why I give that example. Okay, and then happy baby, our last pose. So we'll reach the legs up, grab the outside edges of the feet, and then I'm just gently drawing the knees towards the sides of the body. So recovery is key. I guess that would be another word I could use for that. Just allowing ourselves recovery and patience and time. We just skim the top of all the unnecessary things that really don't matter. Okay, and then let's come into Shavasana. So lay down flat on your back. Take up a little space so your legs can be a bit wider. Let your legs just fall open a bit, and then the arms can lay out to the sides, and just rest easy here and just enjoy the efforts of this practice and let them just settle into your bones. This is where we really feel and appreciate all that we can do and have the potential to do. Good. And as you are invited to lay here a little longer, I just wish you a very safe and enjoyable holiday weekend. And again, just continue to think about this concept of letting go of the things that really aren't necessary in your life, and that whole less is more. You will get farther when you're concentrated on the quality things that are added to your life and do not take away. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your practice
From my heart to yours, namaste.